All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our South Asian Men's Show. My name is Madhusha Kalamenan. I'm one of the coordinators for the Youth Wing at Voice of Men 360. By profession, I'm a vocal trainer, a vocal coach, and a project coordinator. So let me share a brief intro about the Voice of Men 360, International Men's Day, and why we have this talk show. So South Asian Men's Show and why it's important and what it's exactly about. So Voice of Men 360 is a nonprofit organization. We're founded in 2020 and we're based right here in Toronto, Canada, but we're working with international initiatives. So many boys and men are seeking the help and support in many areas of their lives. So we understand that there are demands and support needed when it comes to boys and men in our society. Voice of Men 360 organization was born out of seeing the tremendous need for stepping up and helping and needing to provide services to help and support and overcome men's and boys' life challenges. We are also happily part of International Men's Day. So International Men's Day has been serving for over 21 years, and so far over 90 countries around the world have joined together, and we're doing various activities regularly. IMD is also following 6 pillars, which is known to be the overall, take care of the overall well-being of boys and men. So we focus on those same footsteps as well. So why the South Asian Men's Show, or what is it exactly? So for those of you who are not aware of it, this is a show that is designed to openly discuss challenges that South Asian men are facing regardless of where they are in the world, and doing so to create awareness of their struggles and conflicts in areas such as language, culture, tradition, education, and abuse. This is how we're doing so and taking initiatives to make it better. We also recognize that these issues are important to South Asian men and are not being discussed openly enough. So hence, this is why we have Voice of Men 360, and we're stepping up to create this open space and to allow individuals of organizations to share their stories. Anyone can participate regardless of gender, age, nationality, or ethnic group, and we also hope that you will join us in this journey. So the South Asian Men's Show is now going to be hosted on the third Sunday of every month from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So now as I go forward, before I introduce you to our special guest today, I would like to go through our disclaimer beforehand, very importantly. So please be advised that content brought forward for any event facilitated by Voice of Men 360 is always brought forward in good faith, however, may bring forth dialogue and opinions that are not representative of this organization. The facts and information are believed to be accurate at the time that they are offered. All facilitators, guest speakers, panel, forum members, and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any actions that may relate to these discussions. The content brought forward may include discussion for somewhere that may be emotionally at risk. It is important to know that this organization is engaged in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and is not providing therapeutic advice. If you need crisis intervention or therapy, you need to engage in the services of a mental health professional. If you have any questions about this disclaimer or the panel discussion, you may freely contact the Voice of Men 360 organization through the website. Contact information is posted as well below. So Voice of Men 360 takes privacy concerns very seriously. And with this now said, going forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in this event in any capacity, we welcome you. And should you discuss this event or decide that you would feel that this is not for you at this time, we respect your choice and we would welcome you to join us later. So now the special time has come. I'm going to be introducing our special guest today, which is Arnab Basu. So Arnab has graduated in commerce and postgraduate in business administration. He also presently is associated with the business of quality control upon packaging items, and he also has a very keen interest in music. He's also a vocalist who is adept in piano and guitar and associated with the men's rights movement from 2019. Presently, he is the vice president of All Bengal's Men Forum. So welcome in guest. I welcome you today, Arnab Basu. Thank you so much for joining us with our first South Asian Men's Show. So at this time, I'd like you to tell us about yourself briefly and some of your influences and inspirations of your current position.
evening to all of you, all the viewers who are presently viewing our program, this event, or might be morning or afternoon as per your timings. And Mathusha, at the outset, let me convey my heartfelt gratitude to you and the entire team of the Voice of Men 360 for arranging for such an important and significant discussion event and allowing us, that is the All Bengal Men's Forum, to participate over here. And I, being the vice president of this organization, extend our heartfelt gratitude to you. Now, about myself, I think you have already introduced me to all the audiences. Now, my why did I join this men's right movement? See, I have been saying for a long time that men uh, who are projected as the most privileged class in this society, particularly when it comes to that so-called patriarchal society that we have been hearing for so long, or the society basically infuses that concept that we live in a patriarchal society where everything is dominated by men and every decision is taken by men, everything. So they are in full command, in full control, and they do not have any issues. They do not suffer from any sufferings, or they can't be subject to any sufferings, particularly by the opposite gender. But that actually is not the case, as we are seeing all over the world.
Most
And
definitely.
men have many issues. Men are also subject to many kinds of emotional and physical tortures, as we know, as we are seeing many cases right now in front of our eyes. And the most important thing is that despite everything, men who have been taught from right from the childhood not to express their emotions, they say that men can't have any emotions, men don't suffer, men can't cry, they can't express their emotions. So this, all these things have actually taken a big toll on the overall physical and mental well-being of men, right from the childhood till they attain the age of manhood. And we have been seeing these things, and in particular, this problem is very accurate in our country, in India. And the biggest reflection of that has been that there are many NGOs and many the government administrations in our country who have been working for the welfare of women for long, and they have taken many steps for their welfare, which undoubtedly are required. I don't doubt. We don't have any doubt that women also need those requirements. They have issues, but that doesn't mean that men can be suppressed. Men don't have issues. But surprisingly, sadly, none of the governments or administrations or any law in our country have any special provision for men or have any minimum protection for men, as that matters in many cases, as we see. So these things have actually, and also the biggest issue is that uh, we don't have a men's commission in India. We have a commission for women, we have a commission for child human rights, also for animals, but we don't have any commission for men,
Amen.
as if
Correct.
men are not considered as human beings. So this is these all these things. When I've been recalling, I've been thinking for long. I this mindset or this urge to be associated with men's right was actually kindling long inside my heart until I met our current president of the All Bengal Men's Forum, Nandini Chachi. When I first saw her in a Facebook video, that she was very speaking very vociferously in favor of men's right and why those are required, why how much injustice the government and administration has done to the men for years for by not catering to their needs. And right from that time, it was the late 2019 that I officially got associated with this men's right movement. And talking of the All Bengal Men's Forum, of which I'm a vice president, and Nandini madam is a president, we officially started our journey in 2020. We got registered in the month of January 2020, and since then, we have taken many notable initiatives to spread awareness regarding the need for men's right in our society. We have done a lot of conferences, we have done a lot of press meets, we have done a lot of street rallies wherein we have highlighted the importance of men's right. We have highlighted many cases wherein men have been subjected to various kinds of tortures, emotionally and physically, and many cases where, despite being the victims of domestic violence, uh, they had nowhere to go. Neither the government nor the local police stations or the law have been able to have given them the slightest of protection in most of the cases. Wherein we also find, uh, as per our statistics, the domestic violence upon men have risen to a good extent, to a
Mhm.
considerable extent over the past 1 decade, or 1.5 decades. But there are no provisions. We find many news articles almost regularly wherein these things are happening, and also men gets frequently subjected to false accusations.
Right.
I'll tell you, in India, you must know that there is a I mean, most of the laws, I mean, there are about 50 laws which are purely in favor of women, one-sided. Like one of those is 498A, which is regarding this domestic violence that often happens upon women. It used to happen a lot in the past. Yes, we don't deny, but for them, just to for their protection, these laws were formulated. But the saddest part of the story is that since these laws are very much one-sided, so the society or the administration rarely considers that men also get subjected to these kinds of violences, because you see, crime basically has no gender. It can be committed by both men and women, and in both the cases it should be viewed as a crime, and the one who has committed the crime as criminals. And in the process, one must stand beside the victim to ensure his or her justice, regardless of any gender or any religion, any caste, everything. Only in that way we can ensure a better society for all the human beings. But it has
Mhm.
not been the case over here. I'm particularly talking to the context of Indian scenario, wherein you, I mean, hardly any man can register any complaint uh, in the police station, and
Mhm.
till date, this 498A, this case, the domestic violence, which only women can file, and also that too, the married women upon their uh, um, her husband's family. Now, increasingly, we are finding that particularly this law, is so much misused by one section of women, by
Right.
a good section of women, one section of women in the society, who actually, use this as a weapon against men to, uh, with a very revenge kind of mentality, which is actually absolutely unnecessary, because in those cases, it's mostly found that despite being innocent, that man or his family have nowhere to go, have nowhere to defend themselves, and in many cases, till date, this 498 was such that if a woman registers one single complaint, the police would have arrested that man and his family without letting him or them a single opportunity to defend themselves, until late when a law has been passed that you can't immediately arrest, and that's because of many uh, protests. Many the men's right, other men's right organizations in India have raised their voices. So
Right.
this is basically the scenario, and this is why I am associated with this men's right movement.
Yes. Thank you so much, Arnab, for that explanation. You definitely shared very, very valuable points there, and also a lot of interesting information and facts, definitely, that I feel is important for everyone to know, especially given your situation as an Indian citizen and being exposed to the Indian legislature. So, all the laws that you feel that are not in favor of certain rights or acknowledging the importance of men as well. So, thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely, you have a great role here. Thank you for your contributions, and as well as I believe you said it was you and Nandini Madam who are the hosts of the Bengal Men's Organization. So thank you to both of you as well for that effort. So going forward, I want to ask you. Why you think it's important to discuss fatherhood in a child's life?
Yeah, father. Now you see, since you represent the voice of men and I represent the All Bengal Men's Forum, so one thing is common over here, that is men. And when we talk of men or men's rights, we need to understand the roles of various men in our lives that actually matter for us, that actually have an influence in our
Mhm,
lives.
mhm,
And in that context, I think you also will accept that one of the men who undoubtedly have, I think, probably the most significant impact in our lives or play the most significant and important role in our lives is the father. I mean, undoubtedly, I think you will agree that a father is the greatest hero that a man or a woman can have in his or her life, or a
yes.
boy or a girl can have in his or her life.
Sure.
So uh, the thing is that again, what happens over here that when it comes to recognition of the roles of parents, again we find that in most of the cases, I think it's a situation all over the world that the mothers get glorified much more as compared to the fathers. You see, there are many discussion panels that you will find, many talk shows you will find regarding the roles and responsibilities of mothers and the contributions of mothers in our lives. And again, there are many. The media also plays a big role over here in highlighting and giving the recognition to the mothers,
Mm-hmm.
and which is undoubtedly essential. We never doubt, because mother definitely plays an extremely important role in our lives, starting from giving birth to the emotional attachments that we have with the mother from a very early age. And over here, I must say that from the very early age, we have a more emotional attachment towards mothers, because
Yeah.
again the same thing, why? Because mother, again, being a woman, is more expressive as far as the emotional factors are concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
getting concerned regarding the child's health, being happy towards his or her success, or being sad by their failures, and they very much express those things. They are very much more expressive, and that is why what happens, the person who can express more get more recognition. I mean, that is a rule. So that has been happening for years now, and that is why what happens, the society has given more recognition to mothers uh, in terms of let's say media recognition, in terms of the poetic recognitions. You will find that most of the poets or the writers who
Mm-hmm.
write regarding parents focus, 90% of them focus primarily on the mothers. We
Mm-hmm.
have songs regarding mothers recognition, their contributions to salute them. Like we have a song over here, Ma Tujhe Salam. We call our land the motherland. Okay. Now, so everywhere you will find that this sentiment, this emotional attachment to recognition is solely centered to the mother.
Yes.
However, the thing is that when we grow up, when we gradually grow up, we begin to realize that there is another person in our lives who
Mm-hmm.
also plays an important role and a significant role, and that is a father. But what happens again, you see, father being, again, being a man who has been taught right from the childhood not to be so expressive. So the father, often what happens, he remains very introvert, he remains unexpressive regarding his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can understand is that he is having that feeling, and how well he is actually nurturing those feelings um, for us, and how much he is actually, I mean, giving that, how much is his endeavor towards our well-being, towards our betterments.
Right.
When we only realize that, because you see what happens. Again, father's role is a very silent role, which has got a, huge depth.
Mm-hmm.
And to understand that silent depth, you need that maturity, which you
Yeah.
don't attain unless you reach that particular age.
Right.
It's then that we realize that how important fathers' roles are in our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, truly speaking, the father is the fulcrum of a family. You just see right from the childhood, We don't have to worry about the basic amenities in our lives, like the food, clothing, shelter, and any other requirements, be it from the most minute one to the most significant ones.
Yes.
The Father leaves no stone unturned or spares no effort of his to
Mm-hmm.
ensure that we are not deprived of anything,
Yes.
right from the education, right from the uh, healthcare requirements, till our materialistic demands, everything, not only of us, but also for his wife and who is our mother, and
Mm-hmm.
also his family members. So he is the main fulcrum of the family. He is like a banyan tree who gives shades and nurtures us with the fruits. And also, he prevents us from any kind of turbulences.
Mm-hmm.
Till his last breath, he tries to ensure that not a single bit of that turbulence can affect us. And he is ready to absorb all the shocks, all the turbulences, all
Right.
within him. So this is the role of a father. So we
Yes.
can understand how much significant he is in our lives and what are the sacrifices actually he makes in our lives.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, Arnab, for sharing that today, especially in this day where we're discussing the importance of fatherhood in children's lives. So I really like how you mentioned the analogy of the banyan tree, like you said, in terms of how a father can be at the root and the foundation of a child's life. And definitely, it's important that you mentioned how a lot of media and even like over time, history has been very, very fond of supporting the importance of women and motherhood as a journey for sure. But fatherhood is definitely demeaned a little bit in terms of how much society is exposed to it, let alone being able to express feelings, like you said. So thank you for sharing those valuable information and points. And going further today, as we discuss the importance of fatherhood, how do you think a child and a father can develop a healthy relationship and even add values to how they can benefit from each other in terms of how a child helps a father and how a father can help the child? What do you think of that?
So it depends on both. There is an active role of both the mother and father over here. I'll tell you why. First of all, if I come to the father, now he has to, both as a father and as a man,
Mm-hmm.
the time has come for him that he should start expressing himself. Because the more you suppress your feelings or your emotions, neither people will get to know about that, nor will you get that recognition. And what happens, I'll tell you, those emotions will continue to affect you internally. Because you see, whenever there is a turbulence or any that kind of emotional um topsy-turvy situation going in your mind, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't empty that from your mind by speaking out or expressing in the form of joy or sorrow,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to remain inside you and it's going to affect you mentally as well as physically.
Most
So,
definitely.
and also now, if I come to the context of the child, until and unless you are mingling with the child right from the childhood and expressing your emotions towards him or her right from the childhood, he is not going to get that comfort space
Yes.
uh, when it comes to interacting with you and uh, expressing his or her emotions and joys with you, and in the process building up that emotional bondage right from the childhood. See what happens again, this is the impact of that thing that men are being taught not to express their emotions. What fathers do, and men, you know, men are most of the times taught that you can't express your emotions. On the contrary, you have to be a very tough and rough and tough kind of a person, having a very tough and strict personality of yours. Now, by believing that thing right from the childhood, that gets inculcated in the subconscious mind of the men to the
Mm-hmm.
extent that uh, even when they become the father, even when they want to express that thing, they are outer that outer layer of their personality that doesn't let that go through
Yes.
because it's preventing him because of that those social concepts that has been inculcated inside
Mm-hmm.
him right from his childhood again. So
Yeah.
the father basically don't. can't express themselves and often remain very silent at that thing. So that was, so being a child, what happens? That thing, that very personality of a father, actually creates that a kind of, if I don't say negative thing, negative image, a semi-negative image, or let's say a kind of non-attachment kind of mentality towards the father, because they always see that the father is very much away from us. And
Mm-hmm.
also what happens, since the father has to be, most of the times he has to be outside in his
Yeah.
workplace, so often it's a very common situation, particularly in the Indian scenario, that most of the times father comes home very late in the night, when the child has already gone to sleep, and again the father has to go out very early in the morning when the
Mm-hmm.
child has not woken up.
Yes.
So these things also play an important role in the child's mind, that they become a bit unfamiliar with the father. They're
Yes.
most of the times they're attached with the mother. So you can very well understand that here comes the role of the father. He has to come forward to express himself and
Mm-hmm.
be more expressive, and share time with the kids, play with them, share their happiness, share their sorrows, and keep on interacting with them all the times. But the thing is that the good thing is that I'll tell you, over the past few years, this trend has grown, that fathers are now becoming more and more attached towards their kids. They're trying to
Yes.
spare more time for the
Yes.
family and for kids, and that's having a good impact on the kids' minds. They're
Yeah.
also realizing that father is also there. A person called father is also there, who is also equally important for us and equally significant. So they are
Yes.
starting to realize this right from the childhood. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So thank you so much, Anna, for sharing that information. A lot of valuable points you mentioned, especially in terms of how the structure is of, a work environment for the father figure. And like you said, how children are often not familiar. So those are really important points in terms of maybe perhaps why over time children and their fathers have been very distant, which further makes it even more difficult for them to share their emotions and, like you said, spend time. So now it's becoming a bigger challenge. And now, as you said, it's good that they're trying to spend more
Yes.
time, but still their lifestyles have been tailored that way, which makes it difficult. So definitely very important points. And going forward,
So
I
I
want
another thing. So I'm sorry, I just
that's fine.
interrupted you. Now I told the role of the father. Now coming to the mother's role, the mother has also got to play an important role over here. She also needs to make the child realize that, look, this is your father. He's equally important as I am. I might have given birth to you after holding you in my womb for 9 months, but
Mhm.
father also holds you in his heart and soul for lifelong, and
Yes.
ensures that you are not deprived of the slightest of your happinesses, and in the process he sacrifices a lot, and
Yes.
he is like a banyan tree for us. So
Yes.
the mother also needs to make her child realize these things. So there is
Yes.
an active role of both the father and the mother, because you see, you can't clap unless both of your hands come together. So over here, both father and mother need to come together
Mhm.
and contribute towards the development of the child.
Most definitely. Very, very important point. That was a very crucial point that you mentioned, the importance of both, and a mother having to take that active role to, acknowledge the importance of a father and, acknowledge to their child that, there is the importance of a fatherly figure like this in your life, and this is what they do for you. And I like how you mentioned, especially with the clapping, that's a very easy way to understand it, because in order to create the impact, we need both sides. So definitely we need the mother and the father. So thank you so much for sharing that. And afterwards, I want to ask you, how do you think a father's roles are in terms of like society? Do you feel that they are silenced in any way? And if they are, what are some of those silent roles that you feel like fathers play, but they're not really explicitly discussed in our society?
So again, what I said, that uh, again it comes to that manhood, that what we are taught, that you can't express yourself, or you can't What happens? You'll find often the mother saying that particularly when we grow up, that, oh child, you see, I have done so much for you right from your childhood. I've been preparing your food. I've been taking care of your studies. I've been doing this and that. So many things, so many things. But
Yes.
often, but how far do you care for us? What recognition do I have in your lives? You see, I'll tell you, mothers often. This is. I'll tell you one thing. I'm being very impartial and saying that often this is where the mothers tend to go wrong. They feel that they are not getting the recognition, but they fail to realize that they are getting the recognition every single time. No
Mm-hmm.
one can deny the role of the mothers in their lives, and they're getting recognized in forms of not only by the children, by the whole society, in the forms of what I said, the media recognition, the poetic recognitions in forms of various shows and everything, and also many films have come up which have highlighted the importance of mother in our lives.
Yeah.
Uh, but compared to that, if you see how far the fathers have been particularly highlighted,
Yes.
how far the fathers' roles have been particularly highlighted in our society. In that way, the way we are used to see the mothers highlighted,
Yes.
neither in terms of the media recognition, nor in terms of any TV shows or chat shows, not in terms of any creative writings, in terms of any poetry or any articles or any films, any filmmakers. You will rarely find any filmmakers who are focusing on the father in particular.
Yeah.
We have had a few, but much less as compared to what uh, they have done for the mothers.
Yes.
In case of the mothers, so this is where I think the role of the society comes into play. Not
Mm-hmm.
only the government and the administration, also the media and all the other people who are into creative writings. So through their contributions, they need to spread awareness regarding the
Mm-hmm.
fathers,
Yes.
uh, regarding the roles and responsibilities of fathers in our lives. See, that will pave way for that recognition of the fathers, that people can more widely relate to the fathers right from the
Yes.
childhood. And also, I'll say one more thing over here. I don't know what the scenario in the rest of the world is, the global situation, but if I speak in the terms of Indian context,
Mm-hmm.
uh, again the government and the administrations have primarily, I mean, mostly, or solely, you can also say solely catered to the needs of the mothers. Like, they have
Yes.
come up with many schemes for the mothers, the mother and child. uh, Not only the government and administration, all the NGOs, I tell you, like the Rotaries, Lions, and other NGOs, were reputed NGOs working all over the world.
Yeah.
They primarily focus on the health needs of and other needs of mother and child. That is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely okay. That's very much required, no doubt. But you see, can you deny that father also suffers from many issues, many mental issues, many physical issues? Physically, being a man, he also suffers from many issues which are particularly uh, male issues. Like, female women have their issues, health issues. Men also have their health issues.
Mm-hmm.
But you will rarely find them doing anything for solely for the fathers. Like, I'll tell you one thing, one of the most important things that the government administration and all these NGOs need to cater to is not only the physical, but also, more importantly, the mental well-being of the fathers. Because you see, the fathers can rarely express themselves, as they're mostly, I mean, uh, one thing is that the emotional factor, they can't express themselves. And
Yes.
mostly, I'll tell you, see that the fact that we don't have to care for any single requirements, or be it food, clothing, shelter, or any other materialistic demands.
Yeah.
Everything gets fulfilled by the father. And
Mm-hmm.
how? See, behind everything, there is that money factor. Without that money, you
Yes.
can't imagine of anything, any kind of thing in the world.
Yes.
And still, in most of the cases, the father is the sole bread earner of the family. And particularly when it comes to the economically downtrodden sections of the society, the financially weaker sections of the society, particularly the ones who are living below the poverty line or marginally above the poverty line, and also in the the middle income group people. In many cases, still the father is the sole earner of the family, and you
Yes.
can very well imagine how much he has to, how hard he has to work. In many
Mhm.
cases, in most of the cases, which often, I mean, it takes huge toll on their mental well-being. They are
Yes.
subjected to immense mental pressure in their workplaces.
Yes.
Uh, but what happens? They can't express those things.
Yes.
They can't express those things in the family, of
Mhm.
also to their near and dear ones. They can't express because they feel that that will affect their manhood.
Yes.
So this is the thing that is why this takes an immense mental toll, an immense mental. It affects them mentally so
Yes.
much that often they also suffer from mental illnesses. Mentally they become exhausted. They
Mhm.
suffer from mental exhaustions and many other mental issues because of these things. You
Yes.
know, men, in as per our Indian statistics, the men suffer from heart attacks much more than women,
Yes.
especially after a particular age. And nowadays, you will find that after 40, a large proportion of men in our society are suffering from heart attacks.
Yes.
That's particularly due to this immense pressure in the workforce. Also, there can be many other like matrimonial disputes, and
Yes.
in kind of disputes, men always remain in the back foot and with the fear that they leave the targets first because, as I said, that laws are mainly in favor of women,
Right.
particularly in India. So these all things combine all those things and
Mhm.
the immense mental pressure. Often, you see, they're on the risk of losing the jobs, particularly when it comes to recessions. You know that in the recent pandemic time, how many people have lost their jobs, their businesses, everything have
Yes.
the economy has just been, I mean, demolished by this COVID-19, and the people who have been the biggest sufferers over here, right? Mostly the men who are working, and particularly for the ones who are the sole working members of the family. So just imagine what a kind of mental toll that is taken on these men.
Yes.
So do you think that these things don't need to be catered or looked after by the government, by the society, by the NGO? Because men are also human beings. They're also a part of the society. They
Mhm.
also contribute to the vote share of the governments, and they also contribute to significantly. They contribute to the income tax and all the other things, or
Yes.
whatever. And all the NGOs that are there. The irony is that all the NGOs and work who are the government administration who are working
Mhm.
for these people over there, the workforce is significantly men till date.
Yes.
So this is where we want to create that awareness in the whole society that look, men are also doing so much. Men are also human beings, and men are one of the major fulcrums behind the societal growth and development. So if you don't cater to their mental and physical well-being, you are leaving them deprived. And if you're leaving one section of the society deprived, you cannot expect a good society or a developed society in the long
Right.
run. You just cannot expect
Yes.
because both need to be equally balanced. If you're only catering to the mothers or the women, just completely neglecting the men, you are paving way for a tremendous amount of social imbalance, and that is
Right.
going to have a big negative impact upon the whole society in the long run. So
Mhm.
it's high time that people realize, the entire society realize these things, that men's needs also need to be catered. And when I talk of men's needs like fathers, the well-being of fathers, we have I'll tell you one thing. This manhood actually starts from the boyhood. The boy
Yes.
actually becomes a man, similarly as a girl becomes a woman. However, the saddest part of the story over here in India, in particular, is that uh, the people, the government, the administration, they are more concerned about the well-being of the girls, and they are having they have the budgets allocated for their mental and physical well-beings, but not for the boys. So you
Right.
just consider if boys are deprived right from their childhood in
Mm-hmm.
terms of emotional aspects, in terms of health aspects, and other aspects, educational aspects. So can that boy become that uh, ideal man?
No.
He can't.
Yeah.
And if he can't become, he is going to go to his life is going to get ruined, and
Right.
he'll just be. He'll just develop a negative feeling towards the society, and that's going to force him towards the unwanted, uh, he's going to go towards the criminal activities, the antisocial activities. Those are going to attract him more because he's
Yeah.
not finding his place in the so-called good society, the civilized society. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not having an attraction towards that. So that, and in the process, what's happening? We are paving way for criminals. If we say that many men, they try to stigmatize men, saying that men, all men are bad. They are criminals. They're,
Right.
whatever they are, whatever. But then will ask, we as men's right activists will ask the government, the administration, and the society, if you
Mm-hmm.
feel like that, just see how much have you contributed towards him when he was a child, because
Yes.
it's a childhood that basically shapes up the personality and the life of that man. But how
Yes.
much have you contributed? If we ask these questions, I'm sure they won't have any answers. So that's why high time we take care of the fathers. We cater to their emotional and physical, mental well-beings, and all the other things to ensure that we make up this society an equally better place for men and fathers that we try to do for women and mothers, because both exist side by side. Both actually complement each other. That we have to understand.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, Arnab, for mentioning that. So, lot of important, crucial points that you discussed here, in terms of how the roles of fatherhood are, suppressed, and like you said, especially, I know, you focus a lot on how there's how to say, an imbalance of the resources that have been allocated towards men throughout history, and starting from, like you said, from childhood, everything that focuses on more on girlhood and womanhood rather than actually boyhood and manhood. So those are very important points, and I want to ask you next, do you feel that there's any specific reasons for why, a father's roles or sacrifices are silenced or not recognized? And even in the modern world, do you feel that fatherhood is in, a threat or danger? How do you think we can overcome this altogether?
You have actually asked two questions over here. Let me answer
Mhm.
the first question of yours. You see, since I have done my business administration, over there we had to learn many things like finance, marketing, HR, systems, many things. So
Yes.
in the marketing concept, we had a, they used to say that this is a golden rule for marketing,
Mm-hmm.
that the one which is visible gets sold easily, or gets, I mean, accepted easily. Over here, I won't say that it's sold, but since women are more expressive in terms of their emotional aspects, they get recognized much more, they get recognized much earlier. And since this has been happening for ages now, and fathers can't express themselves, so this is a, you know, by and large, a concept have developed in the society
Mm-hmm.
that only women have the emotions, only women have the only women have the right to express themselves, because they only suffer from emotional aspects, they only contribute to the emotional factors in the society and whatever. So it's women only who need the recognition, but not men.
Right.
But that is not the case. When you actually go into the depth and when you analyze those things, you will find that men have equal emotions, or in certain cases, they have more emotional feelings than women in certain cases. However,
Yes.
just because of this stereotyped concepts of manhood,
Yes.
they just can't express themselves because this has been imbibed again, inculcated in their systems right from the childhood, and they have grown up believing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the biggest problem. That is why the recognition for men have been so less for so
Yes.
many years. But the silver lining I can tell you is that Now, because of so much awarenesses that we have been creating, and we and other men's right organizations have been creating for years now, and uh, many articles have also come up highlighting the importance of the fathers. And recently, now these things are being highlighted in media, in TV channels, chat shows, more than I'll say significantly more than what it used to be. I won't say that it's very significant compared to the mothers, that side. But if you compare to what used to be in the case of men, let's say 10 to 15 years ago, the scenario has actually, by and large, changed somewhat,
Yes.
significant extent. And that is a positive thing that we garner out of that, because we feel that this is a silver lining that we are having right, that
Right.
fathers are men and fathers are also have also started getting recognized. We used to have a lot of social media discussions and social media eruptions uh,
Mhm.
in terms of Mother's Day celebrations. People used to come up with poetries, often from other poets or self created
Yes.
poetries or other articles, and Facebook. I mean captions. We used to see
Yes.
in Facebook, in Twitters, and Instagrams,
Yeah.
uh, saluting the mother and their contributions,
Yeah.
acknowledging their contributions.
Most
But
definitely.
in the recent times, you must also have seen that fathers have also started getting their importance. Recently, I've seen in the Father's Day, I have seen many articles and many people in the social media have actively recognized the importance of fathers. So that is a very good sign, I must say. That is a
Yes.
very, very, very good
Step
sign, a very,
forward.
very satisfactory uh, sign, I must say.
Correct. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing those information, Arnab. So, I want to ask you after that, in terms of today, so today being the day that we're talking completely about fatherhood and the importance of that in a child's life, you focused on a lot of important points of, how, the emotions, how mental health, physical health is so important like you said, creating the good man, or the healthy manhood that we want to achieve. But because that is suppressed over time, these face as barriers for them to achieve that in the long run. So from your life journey, can you share any unforgettable experiences that you have come across as a father, or any fatherly roles that you feel are really good experiences that you can share for us?
See, Matusha, I have not come across such things in my life, and I'm yet to become a father, let me tell you.
Okay.
So it doesn't go for me now.
Mm-hmm.
But considering the situations that we face in our society, by and large, still, I'll give you an example. You can also conduct this survey by yourself, and the picture will get clear in the front of your eyes.
Yes.
We know what gynecology is, or who are the gynecologists, what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So the gynecology is basically that part of the life science that focuses on the health issues of women.
Yes.
The gynecologists are the doctors who are specialized in the women centric health issues.
Yes.
You will find many people who know this. I mean, most of the people will be able to tell you who a gynecologist is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people like us. Yeah, unless he or she is absolutely from a very low class of the society, but still, I'll tell you nowadays over here, if you go to any rural villages in India, and you ask that, hey, where can I find a doctor where can I find a gynecologist? He or
Yes.
she might not be able to pronounce that term, but they very well understand what gynecology means. They'll say that, oh, a female doctor. Oh, you'll find it over there. Just go walk a few steps ahead. That go to that. Just take a right turn or take a left turn. There is
Mhm.
his or her clinic over there.
Yes.
Surprisingly, if you ask people, define andrology or who is an andrologist, I can tell you with a sound guarantee that you will find that at least 7 to 8 out of 10 people won't be able to say that.
Yes. Or it's
What and
unknown. Yeah.
Andrology is basically the that part of life science or that part of medical science that focuses on the men's issues, the men's health issues. And andrologist is a doctor who is specialized in that the men's health issues. But
Hmm.
hardly you will find anyone talking or discussing regarding andrology or andrologists.
Yes.
Even men, forget about women, even men. It's a sorry state of affair that I want to share with you,
Yes.
particularly in the context of India. Most of the men even don't know that there is a term called andrology and andrologists.
Yes.
They they don't know that there is a particular section of medical science which is dedicated to them, their health issues, and there
Yes.
are doctors for that. Very few know, but the proportion is very less. So
Hmm.
you can very well understand that how much the men's issues have been neglected as far as the awareness is concerned.
Yes.
This picture actually speaks for that. It's very evident. So that's why time and again we have been speaking in favor of these things, that we say that high time has come that men's issues, men's health issues, both physical and mental, their educational issues. Most of the cases you will find in again when we talk of the NGOs, rural government, they say empowering a girl child. Yeah, that is required, absolutely, no doubt.
Yes.
But do you know that in many cases, in most of the cases in the rural areas, the boys who are deprived of the education, they have nowhere to go and they are subjected to I mean doing all the blue collar jobs or like agriculture and other things, working in hazardous environments. Let me tell
Yes.
you that
Factories. Yeah.
child labor is a big issue in India, and over
Yeah.
here most of the child laborers who are working particularly in the hazardous areas
Hmm.
are boys.
Correct. Yes.
And that's solely because of the fact that their parents couldn't afford their education at an early age. But the
Yeah.
thing is that if they want to approach the government or the administration for that, they won't get any help because
Mhm.
all the schemes are for the girl childs. Educate,
Right.
empower girl childs. We have schemes, we have monetary schemes from the government's parts, from the government side, who are focusing on the girls.
Hmm.
But why don't, our question is that why don't you people realize that it's also equally important to cater the boys, to
Hmm.
look after the boys, to give them the financial support
Yeah.
for their educations. Because if they don't get those things, they will be subjected to either those hazardous um, workplaces as child laborers, or at a very early age, since
Hmm.
they have nowhere to go, they don't have any good profession to select. They will get attracted towards antisocial activities and those things.
Right.
Basically their lives are ruined as well as the society is getting affected.
Most definitely.
So
Yes.
you people actually don't realize the basic issues, the basic requirements, the core issues that need to be addressed over here. They have always once taken a one-sided stance, and that's
Yeah.
solely in favor of the girl childs or women. But
Yeah.
if you don't cater to these things, can you, I think you can very well understand that how big a problem this is.
Yes.
Nowadays, thankfully, many people have also have started realizing these things and they have started raising voices. So
Right.
I'm hopeful that if we can continue this movement, uh, uh, let's say over a period of 10 to 15 years, we can see a significant change in this scenario as well. We are
Right.
hopeful that if we can keep up this
Hmm.
movement and these activities of ours, we can convince the government and the administration at a point of time that boys require equal attention, men require equal attention. Else, you can never ever pave way for that ideal society that we dream of or we talk of.
Right. Thank you so much, Arnab, for sharing that information. Very, very important points, and especially I like how you mentioned the crucial difference between the gynecologist and the andrologist, and how that's a fact that not many people are aware of, that that service is offered, or that there is even a scientific specialty that is focused like that, and how that affects communities over time. So, thank you so much for discussing that. And going forward, I want to ask you if you can just give us some brief information information about the All Bengal Men's Forum. So, for those who don't know, a
Mhm.
little bit on the services that you offer, the activities that that you guys have been preparing for the past years, and how you see your community before and after you initiated this program. What kind of improvements you've seen going forward?
Okay. So first of all, let me say that All Bengal Men's Forum is one of the most frontline men's right activists in Bengal, in the state of West Bengal, in India at present, who are working day and night to ensure the social, mental, and physical well-being of men, and to ensure that we can provide the proper justice to those men who are falling victims of, let's say, physical and mental abuse, violence, and false accusations
Yes.
every day. Because every day we will find many such incidents wherein the many men are subjected to tremendous violence, in many cases by the opposite gender, and other than the physical violence, the mental violence has taken a big toll. Because
Yes.
what I see is one-sided laws. These things have, just turned the lives of many men into hell. So
Yes.
we ensure that we can provide, number one, we can provide those that uh, legal security to them, and provides the legal assistance to the victims who have fallen victims to violence and false accusations.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, we try to ensure that we can come up with some good health schemes for men, and we are also trying that if we can cater to those boys, the early stage of manhood, in terms of some educational schemes, we're also trying that. We have those plans, but one of the most significant steps that we have been able to take in the recent times, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Very recently, we have been able to open a male ward
Mm-hmm.
in the Hospital of Family Planning Association of India in Calcutta.
Wow.
As you
Congratulations.
know, I tell you, the Family Planning Association of India, they are mostly working for the women,
Right.
because in most of the cases we perceive that it's the sole responsibility of the women as far as the family planning is concerned. But again,
Mm-hmm.
that's not correct. Men have an equal role in the family planning,
Mm-hmm.
because, as I said, that men and women complement each other, and the family can never be complete without the active role of any one of the two.
Yes.
And that's why, and in that context, let me tell you that if we continue to keep men in the in the dark, in the darkness, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't spread that awareness amongst them, that look, you also need to know about the family planning, then number one, they are not going to have that idea about the active roles of both men and women. And
Mm-hmm.
secondly, since we're keeping them in the darkness, most of the times they don't understand what is right and what is wrong, and
Correct.
they can differentiate between the right and the wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
what happens eventually, that takes a negative impact on the family.
Mm-hmm.
He might have done something wrong, but he actually doesn't realize that.
Yes.
In most of these cases, what we see, it's very easy to stigmatize men, because
Yes.
men being the so-called that strong section of the society, people feel that they are always dominant, and they're always, if anything happens, it's their sole responsibility, because
Yes.
women can't do anything wrong, or whatever. Again, that so-called that patriarchal concept that has been imbibed deep inside our heart and soul from the childhood, which is actually not the case. That patriarchal society, what we say, is actually not that. Uh,
Correct.
Considering the present situation in particular, I'll not speak of that now. The thing is that we have been able to do that over there. We have been able to create a male ward that is going to
Mm-hmm.
focus mainly on the health issues of the men. So
Okay.
can you just consider that what a big step this has been? The Family Planning Association there in their hospitals also, they've been primarily focusing on the women's issue.
Correct.
But over there, we have been able to create a men's ward.
Yes.
This I feel is one of the biggest contributions or biggest milestones that All
Yes.
Bengal Men's Forum has been able to achieve till date. And
Most
also,
definitely.
we've been able to create mass awareness amongst a good section of the society. I won't say a big section, but considerably good section.
Mm-hmm.
Through all these street rallies, all the press conferences, the press releases, meetings, we have had many webinars uh, to highlight the importance of men in the society and the role of the society to ensure their well-being and their welfare, to have the to contribute towards their recognition,
Yes,
giving them the recognitions, all the
indeed.
things. And I'll tell you, in recent times, in 19th of June this year, we had a big web conference, a big webinar with the African Boy Child Network, who are actually working towards the well-being of the boys. That and also some other men's rights associations all over the world
Mm-hmm.
regarding the fathers. Because I think you might know that Father's Day is being celebrated all over the world in the
Yes,
third Sunday of June every year. So that time we had done that, and it was a huge success. Many
yes,
people all over the world saw that, and they have given their valuable suggestions. They were excited that this is the first time such a step has been taken to
yes.
ensure that fathers get the recognitions. So these are the things that we have been doing, and we are continuing to do. Will continue to do.
Mm-hmm.
We celebrate the Men's Day, International Men's Day, uh, in a very unique way.
Mm-hmm.
This time we celebrate it in a very unique way by tying bands and giving some certificate of recognitions to men
Oh,
uh,
that's very
who
good. Yes,
just walking by in the streets,
yes.
or when the vehicles were in the crossing, they
Mm-hmm.
were in a halt in the crossing. Either we have approached them and said that today is the men's day. We have approached the men and said that today is the men's day. So this is a token of recognition and
Right.
appreciation from our side,
Yes.
the Bengal Men's Forum. So this we try to do this things in a very unique way, so
Very
that
happy to
it
hear.
just
Yes.
the attraction of the people very
Yes.
easily.
Of course. So thank you so much, Arnab, for sharing all that information. So definitely my hearted congratulations to the All Bengal Men's Forum. Definitely some very, very big steps that you guys have made. And it definitely, I can see that it's making a great impact to the community. So in the long term, wishing much success. And I'm really hoping that this will stand as a long-term solution and active solution that will keep on helping the men and the boys population as well that is being so deprived of resources as you mentioned. And lastly, I want to ask you, um, overall, what would you say is your lifetime dream or your goal to achieve?
See, if you ask my lifetime dream, the sole dream of mine or the core wish of my heart is to ensure a society that will have ethics, moral, and values, and that will have respect for all people, irrespective of any caste, any religion, any gender, any age.
Mm-hmm.
And we shall all unitedly fight against all injustices and ensure justice to our fellow men and women. And in the process, we must try to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that we give a beautiful society, a healthy society to our future generations. See, this is a sole responsibility of ours.
Mm-hmm.
We need to ensure. Else, can you just what answer are you going to give to your inner soul when that soul will ask you that what have you done to ensure a good society for your uh, coming generation?
Yes.
Do you think that your responsibility is limited only by giving birth to them?
No,
No,
certainly not. Yeah.
you have to set examples all by yourselves, being
Yes.
part of the society. I tell you, Mathusa, it's a sole responsibility for each and every man and woman, each and
Yes.
every man and woman in our society to ensure that we inculcate these moral values and ethics, firstly in ourselves and then to our children,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can first of all they can understand differentiate between good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times when they commit wrong deeds, the reason being that they are not able to differentiate between the good and the bad.
Yes.
And so in that way we must ensure a better society, a healthy society. And in uh, by that way, we must ensure that we make this world a better place to live for all human beings.
Yeah.
That exactly is my core wish, my core desire.
Yes. Most definitely. So thank you so much for sharing those valuable pieces of information, Arnab. Definitely, I wish you much success in your lifetime dream. You have very, very concrete points that you mentioned in terms of how you would like to see the ideal society and how you feel that a society should be in order for us to be successful, in order to fight injustices together. So really, really appreciate that you mentioned those points. And is there anything else that you wish to say before
Yeah,
closing?
absolutely. Let me convey my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all of you, the entire team of the Voice of Men, from the team of All Bengal Men's Forum. I must say that you people are also doing an excellent job, an amazing job to ensure this balance in the society, to cater to the problems of men. I've heard about you. And you know what, Mathusa, it's even so encouraging, and it I feel so good that when I recall that many men have contributed, played the pivotal role when it comes
Yeah.
to ensuring justice and security and upliftment of women in the society for decades. And
Mhm.
now, when I see that when it comes to addressing the men's issues, many women like you are also coming forward.
Yes,
This
thank
is
you.
indeed a great thing, and I just can't express that how good I feel, how happy I feel regarding this. And this is one
Mhm.
of the steps. This is a prime important step towards ensuring that social justice and what I said, that men and women must complement each other.
Yes.
So the fact that you people, I consider people like you, I consider women like you as a real empowered women who consider that, who
Mhm.
know that behind the empowerment lies responsibility.
Of course, for all
Men
of
and
us.
women contribute to each other. We see that many men come forward for women. So if women also realize that they also need to come forward for the men, like our president Nandini Bhattacharjee and all
Mhm.
those women all over the world, including India, who are
Mhm.
associated with the men's rights uh, activists,
Yeah.
who are associated with the men's rights organizations, I pay my humble respect to all of you. And
Yeah.
it's towards ladies like you. I say that, Lady Tujhe Salam. I respect you all. And also, I convey my respect from our side to all the men who are also doing these things, who are also working day and night. And I can tell you one thing, Mathusa, this issue, this you I think you asked me a question that how much significant change have you noticed in this
Mhm.
men's right movement, or when
Yeah.
it comes to ensuring justice to men over the
Yeah.
years? I must say that the situation has changed to a notable extent over the past
Mhm.
5 or 6 years,
Mhm.
when we have seen that many people have come forward
Yeah.
for ensuring justice to men, including women, and
Yes.
they're also discussing these things in various TV channels, chat shows, and articles are also coming up, and not only by men, also by women. So
Yeah.
this proves that we have been able to create basic awareness in the
Yeah.
society. We means all the men's right activists have been able to create that basic level of awareness in the society, that there is also a need to cater the men's issues as
Yeah.
much as there is a need to cater the women's issues. So it's a very, very significant thing. It's a very, very silver lining, I must say. And
Mhm.
given and it provided we all, the organizations like you and me, you and us, we continue to strive hard and remain focused on our sole mission. The success is not far away. And
Yes.
I believe that anything done with honesty and conviction gets the success. So
Yes.
that's all we need to do.
Most
And I'm
definitely.
sure the day will come.
For sure. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Arnab.
I
Yeah.
thank all of you, the entire team of the Voice of Men 360, for giving us this opportunity. And I'm very much hopeful that we'll be able to work with you hand by hand, side by side, in the near future to ensure a world to be a better place for men and boys. Thank you.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, Arnab, Basu, for your important contributions. It has definitely been a pleasure speaking with you today, especially on this special day where we've got to discuss so much in depth about the importance of fatherhood for boys, men, and all children, and how they play an important role in our societies. We discussed many important points about how the roles have been suppressed, not discussed enough, and even how you mentioned how resources have been imbalanced and not allotted equally in how they are for women. And these are very important points, I feel, for our entire community to know surely going forward, so that this way we can make active initiatives and understand the importance of why we should be addressing men and women equally, as you mentioned, as we need both to contribute. So thank you so much for your important points, and thank you for joining and sharing your very valuable information. Once again, wishing you and the All Bengal Men's Forum my hearted wishes for success in all of your initiatives, and we surely hope to work together as well with our Voice of Men 360 team. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And before closing, I have a few announcements that I want to share with all of you guys. So Voice of Men 360 will be hosting our first meet and greet session. So this will be taking place on Saturday, August 28th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Earl Bales Park. So this is at the address of 4169. Once again, that's 4169 Bathurst Street, North York. And this is in Canada, so nearby to Bathurst Street and Shepherd Avenue West. So this is the address once again. That's 4169 Bathurst Street, North York. And that's again at the intersection of Bathurst Street and Shepherd Avenue West. So we hope to see you all there. And we also have a few live shows as a part of our active initiatives that are taking place regularly that I would like to share with you before closing. So the first one is the Open Up event. So this is the Sharing Your Life Journey. So this consists of a live talk show, which is on every Wednesday, every week at 6 p.m. and on Sunday at 10 a.m. And both are in Eastern Time, hosted as well. Number 2 is the Viri program. So this is known as a Tamil language live talk show as well. Very much similar to the Open Up show, but it's just taking place in the Tamil language. So this takes place on Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And number 3, we also have a monthly webinar that takes place. So this is always hosted on the first Saturday of every month from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. once again Eastern Standard Time. And in this program, we like to bring forward expertise, organizations or individuals who can discuss a specific specialized topic with each session. And we also host a monthly monthly special show, which is known as the Unspoken Tears. So this is one of our recent additions. So this takes place on the second Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This program specifically focuses on domestic violence against men, bullying, male sexual abuse, traumas, and human trafficking. So these are some of the more critical, sensitive issues that aren't touched on as much in our other events and programs. So this is a Unspoken Tears program, very special. I definitely think you all should check it out. And then we also have the South Asian Men Show. So that is what we are discussing right now as well today, which is taking place on the third Sunday of every month from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Voice of Men 360 and All Bengal Men's Forum will also be hosting this show. We will specifically focus on the issues faced by South Asian men and create awareness. Each month, different countries from South Asia will be taking place to participate. And the next show will be hosted on the coming Sunday, July 18th, which was the one that we had today, from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., which I hope you guys enjoyed the points that we discussed today. Feel free to share all of your comments or feedback on the YouTube or the Facebook channel as well. And we discussed today, as you know, the importance of fatherhood in a child's life. So definitely, like I said, please feel free to share your thoughts and feedback of how we could improve or any valuable points that you would like to share as well. We also host a program known as the podcast. So all of our shows become available on 6 platforms, including iPhone as well as Google Play. So this way it's versatile for any operating systems that you may have with your devices. We also have a monthly men's group meeting. So this is by men for men. It's a strictly program that's only by men for men. So this one is on the third Tuesday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., taking place through Zoom. And the next event will be hosted on Tuesday, July 20th at 6 p.m. Once again, Tuesday, July 20th at 6 p.m. So I encourage those who wish to join through Zoom. The link will be available as well on our Facebook page and group. And we also have an event known as Pass the Talking Stick. So this is generated through an interest as well as an attempt to acknowledge the Indigenous peer-to-peer support groups. So this takes place on the fourth Friday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. via Zoom as well. The next one that's upcoming will be on Friday, July 23rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please definitely join if you are interested via Zoom. The link will also be posted on our Facebook page and group for those who are not aware. Keep in mind that there are no limitations of gender, age, nationality, or ethnic groups. All walks of life can certainly participate in any of our shows. And if you feel that you would be a great candidate to be a guest on any of our shows, or you're willing to participate in our organization or help us in any way possible, directly or indirectly, please definitely do reach out to us. I'm going to give you all the information of how you can get in touch in a few moments. Just letting you know that we are more than happy welcoming with warm arms, and we love to work with individuals, professionals, experts, community organizations, any associations, even government officials, business or corporations that you feel will be interested in our initiative and you hold similar values. We would definitely work together with you to create a long-standing impact and initiative. Now, that being said, this is how you can get in touch with us. So our phone number is 437-889-8329. So once again, how you can get in touch via phone, 437-889-8329. We've also got an email address. You can do info at voiceofmen360.org. We also have a website, which is www.voiceofmen360.org. And you can definitely find us across all social media platforms, which includes our Facebook group page. We also have a group that you can join and you can see and stay in touch with our daily activities and initiatives. And you can also feel free to invite your other friends if you want to spread the word. And we're also published on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. So we hope that this will definitely allow more versatility for platforms. And I'm sure that there's going to be one that meets your needs, and you can definitely join on whichever one that you feel is suitable. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel that is known as Voice of Men 360 channel. You can just search it up on the search bar, the first channel that comes up. Definitely feel free to subscribe and take a look at our other videos as well that we've done in the past. And this will also give you updates and links to our future initiatives. We definitely help to reach out to more and more people and help larger communities internationally as well. So please continue for your support as well towards Voice of Men 360. And we thank you to all viewers who took the time today to watch from beginning to end, or those who joined in the middle. Thank you, whatever it is, for all of your time and your initiatives. And please, as we like to say before we close off, never stop with the information just staying with you. So always try to spread the word, even if it's to one other person. Try to share whatever you learned from today, whatever information you feel was crucial from today. Definitely try to share it, and we can pay it forward to everyone else. So thank you so much to all of you once again, and thank you for having me on this show today once again. So thank you so much.